Speaker.
A 5-minute call on behalf of New Zealand First, Fletcher Tabuta.
I think I see the strategy, Mr Speaker. Bore us into oblivion and hope that they can't drive the energy to reply to absolute nonsense like that. It's painful, sir. Painful. Mr McIndoe, while you were giving your speech, and it was better than your usual contribution to the House, were you worried, sir, as you look back to the backbench national members there who were so enthusiastic? It was mind-boggling. It wasn't that good a speech. Mr McIndoe, I've coined a new phrase, Mr Speaker. In respect to Mr McIndoe's contribution today, I've coined a new phrase, and I've called it the sycophantic bobblehead syndrome. It's a syndrome. And so what we've seen over 8 years, Mr Speaker, is a National Party membership sitting there nodding away, agreeing with everything that they say. It's a beautiful sight. It's usually in sync, and it's quite entertaining. But the sycophantic bobblehead syndrome means that those poor members have come to believe their own spin. So therein lies the problem, sir. So if you believe the spin, you can't prepare yourself when actually someone holds you to account on actual logic and content. All you can do is
Let's try some of that then. Back to the bill.
It's good. So what another member, I can't remember who because that's the summation of the contributions this afternoon, spoke about this budget reflecting a supposed strong leadership of the Prime Minister, John Key. A Prime Minister slipping perilously every day in terms of popularity numbers. That's right. Sir, this was a get-stuffed budget. This was a Band-Aid budget that even New Zealand big business couldn't find much to say about it. They struggled to find positive words. I think the most positive contribution I can think of off the top of my head was, it's a good start. But we're 8 years into National's supposed leadership of this country, and we should be well past a good start, Mr Speaker. In fact, the banks and the academic and financial experts of New Zealand have gone so far to say the government has lost its way and the budget is simply a symptom of a National Party that is living in an anachronistic past. They're trying to move forward by looking in a mirror from the past because they don't know, they do not have the skill set on how to move forward and to solve the problems that everyday New Zealanders are living with. This is a government that stands up and tells us about positive GDP numbers every single day. We dispute those numbers, but let's assume we believe them because one might concede that 0.5% over the last 8 years is still slightly positive. It is still slightly positive. If we believe those numbers, it doesn't belie the fact that the rhetoric from the government is not matching the reality that New Zealanders are seeing more and more every day outside in the real world that Mr Hudson has so carefully blinded himself to. The evidence is right in front of us, sir. House prices, the homelessness, the wage inflation is static as we move forward into the future. People aren't making more money from their incomes. And there is exponential growth in inequality in New Zealand. And this government does not know how to deal with it. And this budget, sir, is a symptom of a government that has lost its way. Thank you, Mr Speaker.